Hi again. In this video, we're going to go through the overview of our course, how it's laid out, and just kind of look through the course intro module. So I'm in my PCC, and I'm going to scroll down here to the D2L Brightspace login. And then once you do that, you will see all your courses that are using D2L, which should be all this term due to the coronavirus. And ours is this one right here. Okay, I'm going to change myself to a student so that mine will look more similar to yours. And this first page is our course homepage. We have announcements on here that I will post pretty much every week. I'll post an announcement, sometimes more often. And then I want to just walk through the tabs across the top. So the content tab is where you will see most of you'll spend most of your time probably. That's where all of our content is laid out. I'll come back to that one because that's the most important one. Discussions is where you can ask questions. So first there will be, general questions for each module. And then we also will have an intro to help us all get to know each other, have an introduction post. That'll be in the that'll be in the intro module. Then we have assignments and the next link over. This will show you all the assignments that we're going to have. And they're also inside each module, but this is like a shortcut if you need to get back to one real quick. Online rooms is where I'll have my office hours. So this is links us to Zoom, and you'll see that there's a link here for each day of my office hours. So let's just say it was next Monday, March 30th at 4 o'clock, and you have a question. You'll click on that link. Yours will look a little different. I'll go ahead and start the meeting. Ask you a few questions before you get in there. Asks about joining, the audio. I think I'm the only one in here, which is why it's not showing. It's not usually, you'll be able to see me, and then you'll be able to see other students if you've chosen to show your camera. Oh, here we go. I can show my camera down at the bottom. Okay, it's not quite working, maybe because I'm already using the camera for this video, but when you get in, it'll look like Skype or a Google Meet, something like that. And I'm gonna go ahead and end that meeting. So that's where you click on, and go back to online rooms. If you have questions and any of these times work out for you, just click on that. Or actually, maybe you might have a join. I think I did that wrong. So you have a join button over there. I'm learning all this just like you are. So you'll see a join button as a student, and then you can go ahead and click, and then we can talk about any questions you have in there. So that's online rooms. MyOpenmath is our online homework system, and I'll come back to this in another walkthrough to walk you through that system, but it's our free online homework system where you'll be doing all your homework questions. And then here's a link to our textbook, which is, oops, I need to update that. We actually have an HTML version. I'll fix that. We have a free online textbook, and last term we had a PDF, but now we have an online version. So I'll update that. Quizzes, these are Just conceptual understanding quizzes. They're not like timed or limited tries, anything like that. So I'll show you when we get to a module how the quizzes are going to work. But if you want to get to one quickly or see which ones you've done and haven't done, this link is a great way to do that. When I click on grades, I can see all the things that are going to be graded throughout the term. So I'll talk to you about the MyOpenmath homework score. Here are all the quizzes. They're all out of 1 point each. They're very small. Then here's all the graded problem sets. Those are the ones you're going to write up and turn in. And then we have some participation worksheets, and down below, you can't see it, it's a midterm and a final. Okay, those are going to be take home due to the coronavirus this term. The MyOpenmath score, I will update this, so I'm going to start it with 10 points for the first week, and then I'll update it to 20 points in the second week, 30 points in the third week, and by the end it'll be out of 100 points. So I'll always put a little note. This is left over from last term. I'll put a little note here on when I've updated your score last, and just know if you catch up on a lot of MyOpenmath, then the next time I update it, you'll see that progress in the grade book. So you'll see your overall points and your grade right here. There's a little bit more. You can check on your class progress, class list if you want to contact a classmate, or help. So help has a lot of good options. There's D2L help. There's some help videos. There's a student help desk, which you can contact if you're having technical issues with D2L, something that I might not be able to help you with. There's online tutoring. There's some accessibility information there as well. So that is a really good menu to know about, the help menu. Okay, now let's go back to content. And I want to go to our course information module. So this on the left side, if you've taken a lot of online classes, you probably know this already, but if you're new, I want to be sure to go over this for everyone. So all of our modules go down the left side here, and you'll see this is pretty much the outline of how you're going to work through the course. So there's an intro to online learning. You'll see a check mark if you've already completed something. If you've done a lot of online classes, this is the same for every class. You don't need to do it, but if you want a refresher or you're new to online learning, please go through that module. Then here, I want to make sure you complete a few things by the first Wednesday, okay? And there's a couple reasons for that. I want to make sure you're up and going and ready to be successful in an online class. We have a lot of content, so we need to get going right away. Also, we have a big wait list, so if if it's not going to work out for someone, I want to be sure to be able to let someone from the wait list in as soon as I can. Okay? If I don't get this information from you, I'll contact you. Okay? So here we have our course information module, welcome, and there's an introduction. There's some information about me. There's the syllabus. I'll click on that one. And you can see some extra information about coronavirus, their resources. Here's all of our course information, my information. Here's also links to those online rooms. Because they're recurring times, each time has a separate link. So if it's Monday, click that one, Wednesday, that one, Thursday, that one. And if those times don't work for you, we can set up other times. So just email me, call me on the phone. We can set up a time to meet by phone or Zoom, or a lot of things we can do over email also. So I won't go through all of this. The most important thing I want to go over is kind of our general flow of the class. I try to set up a pattern that'll be the same each week. So once you go through a couple weeks, you'll have the pattern down, and it works really well like that. So modules always start on Monday. It's great to think of starting your module on Monday. However, they are open, so you can work ahead if you like. Okay. The first thing you're going to do is you'll see lecture notes and videos. Okay, so you want to watch the videos, take notes on plain paper or printed notes pages. Then we also have participation worksheets, which you can print or you can do them on plain paper. And these you have the answers to, so you can check. So these are for practice, and these will be uploaded before the midterm and the final, so you can get points for that. Thursdays by midnight, 11:59 p.m. is when those check your understanding quizzes are due. So again, those are, you have unlimited tries, they're practice and understanding concepts. So you have unlimited tries on those, but they're due by Thursdays at 11:59. And then the next Monday at 11:59, both the graded things are due. So the MyOpenmath online homework and the graded problem set, which is the one you write out or type out and upload to the assignments folder. Okay, so that's kind of the general flow of the class, and I'll show you that again. There's more in the syllabus, so please read it all. If I go back to content here, and course information module, I'm already in there. It's also listed in our course calendar, this general flow of things to do, and these will both be take home due to the coronavirus. Still updating a few things in here. Here's an overview of each week, what we're going to do and what's due, and you'll see, other than this first things to do by Wednesday at 1 p.m., all the modules after that have a very similar structure. And we have our midterm in week 5, and then we have our final in finals week, or week 11. Okay, let's go back and see if there's anything else I want to show you about this. Okay, I'll come back to MyOpenmath. There's a link to get started there. Expectations, this is helpful to read, just some guidelines. And then in the first, this first module, the introduce yourself topic, I need to change these dates, and then a mathography assignment. So this is where I can get to know you a little bit better. You can share with me anything that you feel is important, anything that I should know to help you succeed. And I'm also going to send out a survey about technology. Since campuses are closed, I want to be sure I understand what type of technology you're using so that I can make sure everything is available to you. Okay. Also, if you run into any roadblocks, please contact me right away, and I will help brainstorm or work through that. There's a place to ask questions. You can post any questions anonymously if you want to. There's learning outcomes, and then there's a quiz over the information module. This is just covers all of this introductory information. And again, you have unlimited tries. Just do this by Wednesday at 1 p.m. I need to change my dates. There's also an optional TEDx video down at the bottom if you want to watch that. Okay, so that's our course info module. One more thing before I stop this video, and then I'll go on to the next, the module 1 walkthrough. But there is a print me folder if you do have a printer, and I know not everybody does, but if you prefer to print and are able to print, all the documents for the course are listed right here. When campus is open, I usually recommend going to campus and bulk printing everything, but I know that's not an option right now. So everything can be written on plain paper. There's no disadvantage or penalty for that. I just want to make sure that for folks who do have a printer and want to, you know that those are available. There's also some resources here, some things about statistics and just things, general computer things. I'll probably add some more to that, and study tips and tools. And so I'm going to end this video, and then I'll start up the walkthrough of Module 1. Okay, see you in the next video.